thank you, Niren, for giving me this chance to chat with you. And as I, you know the reason that we're doing this to provide inspiration to the youngster, India and the world, to give them other influences that they can garner their own character with.
Sure.
That's the right way. So, love to just hear a little bit about how you grew up, your background, childhood, schooling, just to get a sense of were you from a middle class family, an affluent Raja like family? Were you from the streets? I mean, what was your background like?
Well, considering you're a brother, I think you know that story intimately. Um, so, yeah, born to a very loving family. My parents came from a small town in Jammu, which is where I was born, but I grew up mostly in Delhi. Um my father was in the government services, my mother, a doctor, and I think they uh, did their very best to ensure that we had access to the best possible education
Really?
that there was available. So I went to really, really good schools, Columbus and DPS, etc. Then I went on to um, graduate at St. Stephen's College, did economics, did my MBA. Um, and so I had I would say, a very loving childhood, but huge focus on academics. Uh,
Typical middle
yeah,
class system, right?
yeah, and I think
Such a millennial.
that's right. And I think my parents were very clear that their commitment and love for me was expressed in providing access to the best education that was possible, not probably in material things. So if I wanted to see television, I had to go to the neighbor's house on a Sunday to watch the movie or Chitrahar in those days.
Mm.
But academics was the main theme, which I'm very grateful for.
But your dad used to be in government and he was posted all over the place.
Yeah.
But you stayed in Delhi, is it?
No, I used to travel with him, so I moved with him from Delhi to Meerut to Srinagar, then back to Delhi, etc. And I think maybe what I learned through those transitions and changes was to really be very open and very adaptable to change and not leave the friends I have made behind. So in my entire life, I've become sort of a person who likes to accumulate friends. And even if I move on, I don't leave my friends behind. So therefore, I actually have a very vast repertoire of friendships.
Really?
And then I just also am very open to change and I embrace change because of those early influences of rapid changes in schools. So yeah, I did move around a lot, but primarily most of my education was in Delhi.
You did well in school and college and all that. Were you normal, average, or brilliant, or what?
I did quite well, and I think real reason is I'd fallen in love with my wife.
Oh,
I met her when she was 14, I was 16,
really?
and it was love at first sight for me, not for her, and therefore I had to work very hard to win her affection, and that inspired me to do the very best that I could do and everything that I thought that she cared about.
Mhm.
So whether academics or music, I was a school cricket captain, the house captain, dramatics, you name it. None of that actually impressed her, but
Brilliant.
it did not. But uh, on academics, I actually topped the 12th class board exams. I came second all India. In those days, we used to
Wow.
have the merit
That,
list. Yeah. So I was second across the country. Just my way of demonstrating to my wife that,
you have two
I'm not I'm
qualifications.
not a blockhead,
No, but
and that,
it's true because when I remember you from childhood,
yeah,
we always thought of you as the happy-go-lucky. You were very happy, smiling, and even in your teens, you had this flair. You were very good-looking at that time. You still are, but now you look distinguished. But then you look really good and good-looking and young, and you played the guitar and you sang. And I remember you being having a flock of girls around you those days, and being quite envious of that. But how did you this what you're sharing with me is a very serious part of you.
yeah. I mean, I feel that love really inspires, and I think for me, the only woman who mattered was Aditi, who I've ended up marrying. Been married for 38 years, and I still try to impress her even now, and I keep
And she
failing,
still doesn't get impressed.
and I keep failing miserably. But yeah, I did very well in school, and because of that, I went into Stephens, did economics, did my MBA, and started my work journey in that manner.
In that sense, you had a fairly very, I mean, the lesson that's to be learned is really do well in academics and everything that you do, and then you'll do well from there. So far, what I got,
Well, I think
there were no
I,
pitfalls here.
I would say, my father and my parents gave me this the value of the importance of being focused on effort and not on the outcome, and to give everything that you can and be very sincere in doing things to the best of your ability, no matter what it is. And then also having a sense of integrity to the commitments that you make to people and also to what you want to pursue. And I think it was those two qualities where, I applied that to whatever I tried to do it to the very best of my ability, uh, never let go, keep at it, and make sure that I put in huge amount of effort, everything that I could do, and not caring too much about the outcome. The ironical thing is when you don't care about the outcome normally follows. But I would say that's what my core learning was.
I do remember that your dad was extremely high, very high integrity, which is one of the reasons he was constantly in transfers everywhere, and he was absolutely straight. And your mom was full of love. I mean, he is still full of love, I mean, she was the most sparkling person. She was by the way, I was completely in love with her. Still am. She looked like some Sharmila Tagore, if you remember. I mean, I'm sure you know. And she was like the best. She was the most favorite aunt for all of us. Now, but did you get the same? Did you get both these qualities from them? You think
No,
integrity, though you said that hard work paying off, not caring about the outcome.
yeah. No, I think, like I said, it was a very loving childhood. You understand the importance of unconditional love and the importance of education. I really think that education is the single biggest multiplier of success. And I valued that because my parents gave that to me in abundance, and also, gave me a very secure, loving upbringing, for which I'm very grateful.
Are you a very loving person yourself?
Well, I hope I am. I think, I think, I think opinions vary on that count, depending on who you ask. But you know,
And then you, of course, did your TAS and you were in hotel industry.
yeah, I finished my MBA, and my first job was with Tata Administrative Service, which at that time was, a premier elite service. Um, I joined them because of the reputation that the House of Tatas has, which is that they have a very humanistic, compassionate agenda. It's not only about enterprise value creation, but creating value for all stakeholders, way ahead of its time. And I wanted to enter an enterprise of that nature and really imbibe the values that were unique to that group of companies. So I joined them and I trained for 2 years in different companies, and finally decided to work at the Taj Group of Hotels. And I think that what I learned at the Tata Group was that it is possible, even in the most difficult circumstances, to lead with integrity, because integrity is the choice at a humanistic or personal level. And as a leader, you either decide to lead with integrity or you don't. And I think giving the excuse that the environment requires you to behave differently, I think is a cop out. And that's what I learned in the Tatas, that no matter where you worked, as long as you had as part of your value system doing things the right way, you could do things the right way. Things might take longer, things might be more difficult, but I think very often the right things are difficult and worth fighting for. So that's what I learned in abundance at the Tatas.